Please welcome co-offensive coordinator and wide receivers coach, Gunter Brewer. All righty, the other guy we'll bring up, a 2004 North Carolina graduate, returns to Chapel Hill. He spent the past 3 seasons at the University of Kentucky. He'll coach the tight ends and the hybrid positions here at Carolina. He's coached running backs at Kentucky, Texas Tech, and Troy. As you just were reminded, a first-team All-ACC running back as a senior at Carolina, had one of the greatest days in Tar Heel history, beating number 4 Miami in that game you just saw. Please welcome our new tight ends hybrids coach, Chad Scott. All righty, Coach Brew. Good news, 2015 was a great year. You got Buggs, Switzer, Hollins all coming back. Bad news, you graduate one of the greatest receivers in Carolina history, Quinshad Davis. What made Quinshad so successful here in Chapel Hill?
Oh, by far, it had to be his coach. I mean, no, it's a unique human being. Coach Fedora and I, when we first got here, got in his home, and he had Clemson and South Carolina and a lot of other places, and he was a kid not swayed by, I'm not going to make my decision until I take some visits. And he's a very unique human being. He's a tight family knit. He wanted to be a part of a family, and the Carolina family was the best fit for him. And you can see what he did once he got entrenched in the Carolina way.
Coach Brew, it is, big hand for Quinshad. Thank you. It is absolutely amazing what this staff has done with you being a huge part of it in Charlotte. We've got 17 players on our roster from Charlotte. Added 2 more today. Why is recruiting Charlotte so important to Carolina? What's helped us have so much success there?
Well, you ought to know that. Your brother's in Charlotte. It's the hub, banking, business, jobs. Our Carolina Panthers, let's give it up a shout right there. I'm calling it Super Bowl champs, baby. Here we go. Just a tremendous town with all the sporting events, and the years have passed with all the pro sports have increased the amount of people that have come to Charlotte and the quality of kid and quality of athlete. And, being in the state, we've got to secure the best players in the state, and there's several guys each year that come from the Charlotte, Mecklenburg area, and Coach Cap and the other coaches have the right around surrounding area. They do a tremendous job, and, it's just a great place to be, actually.
Carolina added 2 quarterbacks, 2 wide receivers today. What do these guys bring to your passing game?
Well, it's amazing. We've got some fantastic kids with a lot of speed. Rontavius Groves is a kid that Coach Porter, I got to give him a shout out. He was actually looking at a running back the year before. Halftime, this kid had over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, a punt return, and a kickoff return. And one of those scored. So he's like, hey, Brew, I just offered a receiver here at halftime, just letting you know you may. So I said, all right, I'll look at him. Got back, said, hey, Port, you know what you're doing. It's all good, bro. Hey, keep rolling. So, we stole him out of state of Tennessee. Go UT. It's nice to get into their state and try to pick some of their talent out. It's good to have a freak in the house like Rontavius. And then Roscoe is a kid out of South Carolina, and he came to camp about 4 times, never ran above a 4.5. He was 4.4 about every time we timed him and tore it up. A great kid. He's kind of like Quinshad. His country is a sack of okra. Loves being here. So he'll fit in fine with our group, and we'll just rock and roll.
I got to ask you one final question, Coach. I vividly remember about 14 years ago, you coming into my office. I was working over in football, and you were fired up about this running back from Kentucky that you were going to get to transfer to Carolina. What did you see in Chad Scott then, and what will he bring to this coaching staff now?
Well, the thing is, I missed on Chad the first time. He's out of Florida, and they wooed him to Kentucky and the new offense they had, and were slinging around and running the ball and all the things. And a good friend of mine had coached him, and sometimes it's better the second time around. And Coach called me and said, hey, Chad's interested in looking to another spot and wants that rock, and y'all are doing it up in Carolina. You think y'all would take him? I said, shoot, I just hope he wants us. So, comes here, and I don't know if y'all out on that field. I still got a piece of that goalpost, beating Miami, and this guy. Yeah, how about them Hurricanes? So, momentous occasion. You were here, of course, but this guy, everybody kind of got nicked and bruised, and it was Chad's time to have the rock, and over about 180-some yards later and a bunch of carries, they said, they knew who Chad Scott was.
Coach Scott, welcome back to Chapel Hill. How's it feel to be home?
Feels great. It feels great to be back. I was wondering what the hell taking Coach Fedora so long to bring me home, you know. It's great to be back. When I got the opportunity to do so, I couldn't pass up on it. And my wife was just as ecstatic as I was. And that was my okay. When she gave me that okay, it was a no-brainer.
That's great. I got to tell you, your first day on the job, you spend it out on the road with Coach Fedora recruiting guys to Chapel Hill. What was that like to be out there with Coach Fedora?
My first night on the road, I couldn't sleep. Trying to make sure everything was in line. Just wanted to make sure everything was in order and everything was set up perfectly. I was real nervous. My first day on the job, I'm with the boss man. So the gas tank was full. I was
real quick, Chad calls me. He said, Brew, he said, I'm going out with a head man first time. I didn't even have, barely had a Carolina shirt. He said, tell me, what time does he get up? Does he eat breakfast? Where does he go? Everything, Said, I put him at this nice hotel. I'm going to go by and pick him up. I said, just get him a coffee in the morning. I said, don't worry about feeding him. He works out, got a six-pack. He ain't got to worry. He don't eat. It's all good. Just grind him. I said, just grind him. We're recruiting. Let it show you what you got. He said, you sure? I said, oh, it's all good. Don't worry about feeding him. You're good.
Yeah. That's right on point.
Chad, everybody knows what you can do as a running back, and you've had some great success coaching running backs. How are you going to adjust to coaching the tight ends and the hybrids position here in this Carolina offense?
Well, first of all, similar to coaching running backs, just demand toughness, accountability, getting us guys instilled and doing the little things right. That way we can be a well-rounded, football player and be able to, work in the run game and pass game. Now, what helps me is my background in this offense in terms of passing. Now, I was a running game coordinator the past 2 years at Kentucky, so I dealt with the tight ends. So really the biggest adjustments for myself is just to pick up on the offense and, be on the same page terminology-wise with the offensive guys.
That's great. You got a favorite memory as a Tar Heel player?
2 memories. Obviously, the Miami game, huge memory for me. and the last time I was here, I was sleeping in a car outside of Jerry's second floor deal, so it's glad to be back and actually sleeping in the bed right now.
Well, Coach Brewer, Chad Scott, same thing to you. Thank you for all that you guys have done and will continue to do for Carolina.
Go Heels!